have your code and your ticker on this network, and you can't stop it from being traded.
Right.
And so there's a derivative, and then if there's liquidity bonding the prices together, so if, let's say you have Chainlink on Ethereum, and then after launch, price bounces around a while, but I bet that over time that these prices will move similarly.
Right.
I think that the Link ticker on Pulsechain is likely to move similarly to the Link ticker on Ethereum.
Right. Just because of the bridge, right? And
well, because they're bonded by the liquidity.
Right.
And then it's the same code with the same ticker. Now, do you want to pay $100 or $300 to trade it on Ethereum, or do you want to pay a penny to trade it over here? And we already know this answer because they're doing it on other networks as well.
Yeah.
People do trading on alternate networks, and then we're the one that you don't like. Your coins are already here. You don't even have to bridge over.
Right.
You've already got your free coins here. You can already access them by changing one setting in your MetaMask. It's awesome.
Dude, it sounds
well.
It sounds pretty awesome.
Well, that's the trick. That's the magic. Is you launch this whole network with all these new coins. How do you get those new coins to be valuable?
Right.
But by not letting anyone ever stop the trading, by having the same tickers, and by giving people a reason to back the value of the things they got free.
Right.
By rewarding them with a yield farming token. It's like a giant vampire attack, basically. It's a giant vampire attack.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another day on Pulsechain Paradise, and of course Bitcoin, of course, pushing new all-time highs over 72,000 US dollars and climbing. And we're going to look at some big news around Bitcoin today. Obviously, we're going to be covering Pulsechain. We're going to look at the day 2, basically, is it? Hex aftermath, and of course, we're going to get into some of the awesome penalties being earned on the old Hex chain, or the Genesis Hex. And that's going to be a bit of fun too. We got a big payday yesterday, and it's not too bad today as well. Just holding those T-shares, getting some pretty nice payouts. Get into the chat, folks. Make it lively. And, of course, you get your comments in. Remember, we are a family channel, a no drama channel, and a freedom channel. We're trying to balance those out. So those are our principles of operation. And, of course, get in there, folks. It's still early days in the bull market. But, man, the bulls are, well, I guess, on the run. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's get into the chat here. We've got Lies Beneath with the Alpha. How are you today? Very good, thank you. And, of course, EHEX, PLS, PLSX, and Center for the win. Oh, he's missed out the EHEX there. Nice one there, Lies Beneath. EHEX is still in the game, so we're going to be talking about that too. We've got Sydney Bay in the house there. Feel a bit depressed having experienced the first rug pull. I'm not sure what you're referring to there. Let us know. We've got Craig Pitt in the house there. Morning all. Good to see you, Craig. Maybe talking about EHEX perhaps. We've got Hexagrader says Magic Carpet Rides are the best. They are indeed. And we're going to talk about Magic Carpet Ride later on. What else we got going here? Tacos are pretty good too, says Hexagrader. They are. And I think Archie likes them. Yeah, Archie says he likes the tacos. A big shout out from Archie in the house. We got Brent Eslick as well. Morning, Superman and family. Good to see you, Brent. Now, Brent has been on an absolute gold tier lately. He's been picking off all the winners. So big shout out to Brennan. If you want to meet up with Brennan in the Discord, check him out. He's our TA guru, man. He has been calling one a fantastic call after another. So big shout out to Brennan. We got Food TV in the house there. PHEX to $1 this bull market. I like how you're talking there, Food TV, and it's great to see you in the chat as always. Big shout out to you. We got Sandy Beach in the house there. Hi, everybody, Sandy. Hey, Sandy, hope you're doing well. And of course, you guys know what's happening at the moment. The squat challenge is on. Got to keep healthy and fit to enjoy your crypto. So definitely follow Sandy Beach. Really is doing an amazing job out there. Who else has jumped in here? Sydney boys in the house there. Hex is a dumpster fire. Yeah, well, we're going to look at the aftermath today. That's what we're going to be looking at. And, of course, maybe the path forward there as well. So we'll talk about that. Dave Dunn says, love coming to the voice of reason, says Dave. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And, of course, John Neese there. What's good, everybody? Welcome, John. Good to see you again today. And, of course, hello, everybody from Hexcellent Choices in the house. Join the Discord there, folks. You'll be able to talk to Brennan. He's been picking off one after another. Fantastic. All right, so let's get into it. Let me just get rid of this. We're going to be focusing on Bitcoin quite a bit and, of course, Pulsechain and Hex today. So those are the main three topics No real project updates to talk about, particularly today. There are lots of little feature things being updated, each different project's doing, but we're really focusing on the big markets today. All right, let's get into it. Let's see where I'm going here. Let me share my screen and kick it off. Let me make sure I'm on the right screen to start off with. And we'll go for gold. Here we go. All right, bam, stock market. We're going to do that Monday, of course. Stock market is open, so we're going to be summarizing that very briefly. The Dow ekes out gains ahead of the key inflation report. You guys know the Reserve Bank's trying to trade off inflation trade off employment for a lower inflation. And here we are with the Dow Jones is up 12 hundredths of a percent, 47 points to 38,769. So the Dow Jones, the top 30 industrials, did manage to eke out a little bit of a gain. The stock indexes, the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq, both down, and that's 6 points, 65 points for Nasdaq. So S&P 500 5,117, and the Nasdaq there 16,000 points at the moment. The US dollar managed to gain a little bit after being sliding for the last couple of days. It's up at 102.43 at the moment. Let's jump to commodities. West Texas at $78 and Brent oil at $82.46 per barrel. They're kind of pretty flat there. Gold is up at 2,188, pretty flat today as well, but a nice little move recently into 2,000 up to that level. Silver at $24.70, also a nice little move up to that level, pretty flat today as well. So that's pretty much it. Now we are waiting for the inflation data. That's the CPI, Consumer Price Index. It's coming out on Tuesday, so obviously this is Monday's results, so that'll be tomorrow. It will be studied carefully for more cues on the path U.S. interest rates and the economy will take. And, of course, the reading is expected to show some easing in inflation after outsized CPI readings for the past 2 months, although the annual core inflation is still expected to remain well above the Fed's annual 2% target rate. The data is set to arrive in the wake of a strong employment that forced some market participants to ditch their call for a May rate hike, with June now more likely, which is what we've been calling on this channel. That's kind of the play. We now expect the first rate cut to come at the June FOMC meeting. Chair Powell's testimony this week was fairly balanced. However, that seemed consistent with the chairs retaining that option. Fed Chair Jerome Powell, as well as several other central bank officials, had signaled last week that they were still seeking more signs that inflation was weakening before the bank would consider cutting rates. Market watchers will also be looking to Thursday's retail sales data for February, which is expected to rebound to 0.8% after falling the same amount a month earlier. The economic calendar also features updates for industrial production, consumer sentiment, and weekly data on initial jobless claims. So that's sort of the economic swathe there. All right, so we do have a meeting coming up for the Fed meeting, and that is coming up pretty shortly. Let's check that out. 1 week and 1 day and 18 hours away, and that's on the 20th of March at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So there we go, getting closer and closer all the time. Expecting no change, of course, in the interest rates, 98% of the market. We are still stuck at that 5.25 to 5.5% range on the federal funds rate. May, 76% expecting a no change as well. So that's off the table pretty much. And June is kind of the earliest there where the majority of the market is expecting a rate pivot. And of course, down to maybe 5 to 5.25% there, maybe 25 basis points as well. So that's kind of the base case now for the first pivot. I think that's a fairly good call. All right, so that's pretty much it. That leads us into crypto. Oh my gosh, I'm being blinded by the green lights. Oh, it's so green. So stop being so green. Damn, go green. Anyway, we got sick of red last year, right? So we got green now. That's kind of good. We got Bitcoin at the moment, $72,454. That is the story of the day, up 4.74%. Bitcoin dominance at 51%, looking like a boss there. But Ethereum is starting to move up 5% at $4,084, looking pretty solid. Everything is looking pretty nice. We've got XRP is up at 19% on XRP. Woo! 72.7 cents. Amazing on the old XRP there. Not my favorite. And I do know somebody that sold their XRP the other day, but unfortunately they put it into the good stuff, something better. We got Litecoin as well, is up 90% at $104. That is the play on Litecoin, and AVAX there is up $16, 16%, sorry, to $48.96 on there. But everything's pretty much pumping, as you can see across the board, looking pretty good. All right, that is it. Let's go zoom in on Bitcoin. We're going to be spending a little bit of time here on Bitcoin because here we are at the moment. Look at that. Woohoo! We've had the top of the Bitcoin range so far, $72,943. This is on Coinbase. So that's amazing, almost 43,000. The low of 67,112. What a range that is. It's like, what's it, $6,000? Man, these candles are getting even broader, right? $6,000 range. Crazy. We're currently at the top of that range at $72,217 and looking unrelenting. Let's bring on the roadmap here, and the Bitcoin halving is coming up, as you guys know. So let's talk about this. Bam. Here we go. We've got 36 days to go until the Bitcoin halving. Woohoo! 17th of April. It's going to be a banger. It's going to be a national banger. So what's the Bitcoin block going from 6.5 down to 3.25 Bitcoin per block reward? And of course, that would be interesting change for the miners' behavior there as well, right? Because at the moment, they're getting about 900 Bitcoin a day or something. So that's going to be pretty interesting on that. So that is it. So what's driving this price? Obviously, we've got the Bitcoin halving coming up. We've had the Bitcoin ETFs in the 10th of May, which is driving big capital. And of course, we're getting a lot of institutionals outside the Bitcoin ETFs also buying, as well as centralized exchanges as well. So we've got a lot of different channels where money is flowing through, a lot of different agents in the marketplace, which are coming into the market fresh with big giant capital, and that's expected to continue to flow onwards and upwards. Now, it doesn't mean it can always flow back the other way, but at the moment, it's pretty much flowing forward. So we're going to check out some of the drivers. Michael Saylor, of course, MicroStrategy has acquired an additional 12,000 Bitcoin, yeah, boy, for $821 million using proceeds from convertible notes and excess cash for 68,477 per Bitcoin. So that's the bottom of today's range. They've been buying Bitcoin. So it's a real key driver, what's been lifting it up over the weekend into today, Monday. And of course, as of the third, this is American time, so 10th of March, 2024, MSTR there as MicroStrategy holds 205,000 Bitcoin. Like a boss. Is that more than Richard Hart? I don't know. You guys, that's the Bitcoin acquired for $6.91 billion at an average price of $33,706. So that's looking pretty good when it's the average price $33,700, and it's currently worth almost 73,000. So a pretty good position there. Big news there on that one. So let's repost that around there. Bam! I'll leave a link to this if you want to check it out yourself. There from Michael Saylor. So Michael Saylor. Now we're going to listen to a clip from him about his rationale and what his outlook is going forward, because I think it's pretty insightful, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So there we are. Bam, bam, bam. That is Michael Saylor. Check it out on that one. But we're going to listen to him. So without further ado, this is going to be quite long. So just hold up there. Maybe I can't remember how long. Maybe 8 minutes or something like that. So enjoy. It really is quite insightful. And his calls have been right. So even with the downturns, his average price might be a bit high. Like he could probably go a little bit better, but it's certainly playing out well for him. All right, let me pull this in, and bam, here we go.
Squawk Box this morning. Bitcoin crossing the $70,000 mark for the first time on Friday this morning. It's now above $72,000. Join us right now to talk Bitcoin is Michael Saylor, MicroStrategy Executive Chairman, and 8K out from the company this morning, revealing it just bought more than $800 million in Bitcoin. As of the end of last month, his company held about 200,000 Bitcoins. And Michael, I want to thank you for joining us. You have been early and courageous, and you continue to double down. I want to talk about where you think Bitcoin is, but also want to talk about how you think about MicroStrategy and your company as a proxy for Bitcoin now that ETFs are available to the public.
Sure. Well, I think I'd start just with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is certainly at least digital gold. It's going to eat gold. It's got all of the great attributes of gold, and it's got none of the defects of gold. If you could teleport gold from New York to Tokyo in a few minutes, people would like it. It's going to divert capital from risk assets and risk ETFs like SPY, and you can see that these ETFs are doing that. It's going to be incorporated into a lot of funds like the BlackRock Global Opportunities Fund or the Strategic Income Opportunities Fund. And so it's an asset class. As it goes into other funds, it's going to become structural. The halving is going to cut the organic supply of natural sellers in half around April 20th. That means there's only about $32 million a day of natural sellers. And the price of Bitcoin is going to have to adjust up in order to meet that investor demand. So I think that's what's going to happen next to the asset class.
In terms, though, of how investors should think about your company, and right now I think they think of your company as a proxy for Bitcoin. It was a way for investors, frankly, who didn't want to buy the underlying coins to get access to Bitcoin and exposure to Bitcoin. The question now, though, that these ETFs have been approved and folks are funneling money towards BlackRock and so many others, how should they think about your company versus doing that?
Yeah, so BlackRock is like the container ship or the super tanker of Bitcoin. They can take $1 billion a day into their capital structure, and they can hold that very efficiently, 25 basis points. MicroStrategy is like air freight. We got higher performance. So what's going on here? MicroStrategy's got leverage. If we borrowed $800 million at 62 basis points, is there any company in the world that you wouldn't like to invest in that could borrow $1 billion at less than 1% interest to invest in your best idea? So we get that very intelligent leverage. It's non-recourse, it's unsecured, and then we buy Bitcoin with it. That leverage gives us volatility. It gives us performance. The performance gives us volatility. The volatility attracts capital, and we can then leverage more. It's kind of intelligent because it's convertible debt. It's given our shareholders more Bitcoin per share this week than they had a few weeks ago. So it's very accretive for them. And it's pretty compelling for every investor. If you're Bitcoin curious right now and you want to buy Bitcoin at the all-time high, how do you get the upside in Bitcoin with downside protection? MicroStrategy sold $800 million in debt, and we have $13 billion of Bitcoin on the balance sheet. So we're giving you an over-collateralized loan and the upside. But if you're a Bitcoin maximalist and you love Bitcoin and you want to hold it forever, the ETFs charge you 25 basis points. MicroStrategy is accreting. We're giving you a yield against your shares in a tax-efficient fashion. So the maximalists like the equity. The hedgers, they kind of like the upside with downside protection. The traders love the vol. You know, we've got 100 vol asset here, and they just like the vol. So we're unique because you can't really trade options on the ETFs, and an ETF isn't going to issue a convertible bond with upside to Bitcoin but downside protection.
So Michael, I try to understand the mathematics, and I know people like you went to MIT, and it just seems maybe it's more understandable for you or Andreessen or Peter Thiel or whatever. At 17, down from 68, and you know your leverage and everything else. Did you ever wake up in the middle of the night and have any doubt whatsoever? That's my one question, because I was thinking about you at 17,000, and now I look at it now, and I just can't believe what the market cap of your company is based on it now. I guess, and the other thing is, when it halves, should we, if we look at it on stock to flow, do we have to just double what the potential price is based on, if you use that metric? Is that a valid metric to use? And after the halving, shouldn't it be 140,000 immediately if it's worth 72 now?
Two good questions, and thanks for asking me. First, with regard to Bitcoin, no, there's no doubt in my mind Bitcoin was a better investment at 17,000 than it was at 65,000. I take the Warren Buffett view on this. Bitcoin's a superior investment to gold, equity, bonds, and real estate because it's digital. You can trade it 1 million times faster than conventional assets using a computer. It's available. Most other assets only trade less than 20% of the time. Bitcoin's trading 168 hours a week. We bought $800 million of Bitcoin, and a lot of it we bought over the weekend when all the conventional markets are closed. It's global. It's the most widely recognized and trusted investment asset in the world right now. It's ethical because it's the king of all commodities. There's no issuer. There's no company. There's no country controlling it. And fundamentally, it's useful. thousands of market makers can trade it all the time. Millions of companies can trade it. Billions of people. If you want to buy a house on Saturday in Africa, this is the way to do it. If you want to buy a car on Sunday morning, this is the way to do it. So it's a pretty great asset. It's the greatest of the assets in my opinion. There's no second best asset. So I didn't have any question about it. We're just waiting for the rest of the world to realize how good it is. As for your second question, the halving, look, the selling in the market for the past month has been primarily bankruptcy estates that are liquidating GBTC at FTX or Genesis or the like. Once they got done rebalancing, the natural sellers are the miners. The miners can only sell 900 Bitcoin a day right now. They're only going to be able to sell 450 Bitcoin a day coming the end of April. As long as there's more demand in the market than the 450 Bitcoin a day, there isn't any catalyst to drive this asset down. It has no cash flows. The critics think that's a defect. It's a feature. With no cash flows, no quarterly results, no product cycles, this is the longest lived asset in the financial ecosystem with the least uncertainty. We're buying it to hold it 100 years. So that being the case, that $66,000 to $16,000 crash, that shook out the tourists, that shook out the non-believers. When it was 16,000, we were all ready to write it to zero. And that's what you'll find with the Bitcoin maximalists. So now we're writing it the other direction, and the protocol's working to everybody's benefit. There's just no reason why it shouldn't just keep adjusting up to find the marginal supply as the demand builds.
Your market cap, Michael, is about $24 billion. You mentioned you got about $15 billion in Bitcoin on the balance sheet. So the substantial part of your market cap is now Bitcoin as opposed to your core software business. Does a software business exist solely so you can borrow off of that in order to buy Bitcoin? And how can we understand right now the health of your business as you undergo transition of customers to cloud-based software?
We have now rebranded ourselves as a Bitcoin development company, think like a real estate development company. And certainly the substantial amount of our enterprise value is based on our unique ability to issue securities and to purchase Bitcoin with convertible debt, with equity and the like. And so we understand that. But the only reason we could make this transition is because the software business was healthy. It does generate steady cash flow. It does allow us to issue debt, to issue equity. It does make us unique because we're able to, we've got a very functional options market. We've got a very functional debt market, and we've got a very stable operating business that we can use. If you look at our last result, we actually bought a lot of Bitcoin with operating cash or cash out of the operating business, and that is purely accretive to our shareholders. So we think we're unique, and that's working very, very well right now.
Hey, Michael, do you think long-term that there's any risk at this point? Has Bitcoin reached such escape velocity that there's any risk that governments, the U.S. government, Chinese government, other governments somehow do something to Bitcoin that puts its growth in jeopardy?
You know, it's another great question, Andrew. A lot of times the skeptics, they say Bitcoin looks too good to be true. It's so good to be true, someone's going to take it away from you. And that's based on a fundamental misunderstanding about Bitcoin. People refer to it as currency or digital currency, and that's unfortunate historical artifact. It's not digital currency. It's digital property. And once you make that big leap and understand it's property, you see the compelling use case is capital preservation for everyone in the world. There's no anathema associated with owning property. You can own $1 billion building in New York City. You can own every place in the world where they allow you to own property, which means China, Europe, the US. They're going to embrace Bitcoin as digital property. All the controversial issues around cryptos have to do with their use as a medium of exchange. But what I'm here to say really is medium of exchange is only worth $1 trillion. Store of value is worth $100 trillion. So I give your company, I give your family, I give your institution $1 billion. I drop you in Africa and I say, you got to save the capital for 100 years. What are you going to buy? And the answer is nothing. There is nothing on the entire continent you can buy that's better than Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's going to be embraced as property. It's going to be controversial if people think of it as a currency. So I would encourage people to think of it as digital property, a $1 billion building in cyberspace.
And
hold it for 100 years.
Does it ever have to be a currency, or do you think it ever becomes a quote unquote currency?
It doesn't have to be a currency. You know, nobody's trying to buy a cup of coffee with a fraction of their building on Fifth Avenue, right? But every rich person I know owns property in London or New York City or somewhere, and none of them complain about not being able to spend their building to as a medium of exchange. So the killer application is capital preservation for everybody. The store of value is the killer use case. Medium of exchange is a distraction. Governments are always going to issue currency. They're always going to make it legal tender, and that's just fine. Bitcoin's competing with gold. It's going to eat it, and then it's competing with risk assets as a long-term hold, and it's competing with you buying an Airbnb as a retirement income source if you're a middle-class person.
Michael, I want to thank you for joining us this morning. Really appreciate it, and look forward to talking to you again very, very soon. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for everything.
All right, so that was a good little section there from Michael Saylor, and of course some big buying really helping to drive the market at the moment. And we can see that they had just completed 12 hours earlier, well, at least earlier they had completed before the weekend there, a MicroStrategy completes $800 million offering of convertible notes. And of course, over the weekend there, they ended up buying at 12,000 Bitcoin. So a big driver there. Not the only driver in the market. We also got positive news from the London Stock Exchange, decision to accept applications for Bitcoin and ETH exchange traded notes, so ETNs. So that was really well received by the market as well. Also, Asian market conditions are very illiquid. So that's also been another catalyst. So a couple of big, powerful things there for Bitcoin. And man, it looks really good, doesn't it? 72,149 at the moment. Let's jump to Ethereum. Ethereum also starting to move. As you guys know, typically the cycle works. Bitcoin goes, Ethereum goes, large caps go, and altcoin mid caps and others go as well. It's kind of the phasing, and everything's starting to move pretty hot. Now here we are on Ethereum. The high of the day so far is $4,091. Low is $3,730. So that what's that about? $380, something like that range. And at the moment it's at the top end at $4,071. We got tons of news coming up. Of course, we got the Deacon upgrade is almost upon us, and man, it is looking good. So Deacon upgrade is basically a day or two away here, really imminent upon us, and it's going to be at 1355 UTC time on the 13th. It'll be US time probably, or UTC time I should say. So that is coming closer and closer for the Deacon upgrade. So that's almost upon us, and of course that's going to have prototank sharding. It's going to introduce blob data, and of course it's going to be potentially up to 80%, up to 90% or something like that. A cost reduction for the second layer protocols like Optimism, Arbitrum, and others, which are pretty cool. So obviously, ZK roll up Optimism type improvements for those different forms, and yeah, and there'll be some benefit to some of the layer one on Ethereum as well. So we'll see how that goes with reducing costs on Ethereum. It's going to be interesting to see, will they get more volume going over the second layers? Obviously, also Pulsechain's a layer one fork of Ethereum, and so how will that take traffic as well? Obviously, Richard Hart encouraging people to move to Pulsechain, the cheaper chain as well. So there's a lot of competition going on with that as well. Now, let's see here. We're moving on forward here. We're going to get into this. We're going to get into Hex, PHEX, and Richard Hart and Pulsechain. Before we do that, though, let's catch up in the chat. There's probably a lot of people's comments about those cool videos. I thought that was a really good educational piece there from Michael Saylor, and also outlining the drivers, which is always good to keep a look at that. But we see Bitcoin like the ocean, and all the other cryptos like big boats on the ocean. And so it's kind of cool analogy. Check my pulse says something very, very good here. Evening Suit Man, 52 weeks to shake out the weekends. There goes a bunch. Well, 13th of May is, I think, the target date for that 52 weeks, if I remember rightly. And so, yeah, more hands shaking out, but man, severe shakeout. Obviously, lots of things to consider. We talked about a lot of those issues yesterday. Some of the issues I didn't talk about yesterday, but obviously BankX on the BankX war between 1.2 and 3.2 cents, $14 million approximately, all that sort of stuff, and not wanting to pay them out, all those sort of theories around that. Obviously, expensive gas fees on Ethereum, and not in the future. Pulsechain will get more expensive in the future. I think it's like $5 to get something out at the moment, in maybe 5 years, where it's probably going to cost you $1,000 on Ethereum, right, to get a Hex stakeout on eHex. But in time, if Pulsechain goes up 100x, then it's all going to start to converge, right, in the cost. So there's all those sort of issues out there like that. But yeah, definitely a shakeout there at the moment. But that is for tomorrow, not for today. And of course, people talking about forking, layer 2s and all sorts of stuff in the future of Pulsechain, which Richard Hart has talked about in the past. What's up, Hexkins? Check my pulse. Good to see you. And of course, Tione says, "What's up, Superman? First on here for once. Woohoo! Hey, good to see you, Tione. I think you're on Superman Crypto or Pulsechain X. Let me know, Tione. That'll be pretty cool. I actually haven't got those up for view at the moment. Hopefully, the moderator's on there. But good to see you. If you guys are new to the channel, man, if you love, we try to do broad commentaries on stock market, crypto, and of course, Pulsechain. Then subscribe today on either of those channels, Hex Token, Superman Crypto, or Pulse Hex. We're streaming to over 10,500 subscribers, and of course, we're looking to grow because that's what YouTube's about, right? And crypto as well. So subscribe today, hit the bell for future videos, and jump along. Tell everybody to come and hang out. The more the merrier, right? Morning all, EHEX to $1. It's a meme coin now. So it bought the dip. Yeah, some people are trying to push the old meme coin because obviously meme coin's doing well. And talking about EHEX being meme coin to $1. Absolutely, Andrew. Is EHEX 6 sat, says wall to wall. I remember when it was, 1 sat? I remember back in the day, early trading. Richard, you failed. Westbound in Crypto says wall to wall. There's a 99.5% chart, just like Axion says wall to wall there on the old EX there. EX looking great. So here we've got a different view here. Eon looking great, but a bit of sarcasm there. Bitcoin Mania says Hexcavator. Yeah, Bitcoin's definitely rising. The ocean is rising. That's good for all other cryptos, including Pulsechain and Hex. April the 8th is the total solar eclipse where I'll be, says Sandy. Sunbathing out there, no doubt. In the winter, says Sandy, in the winter, sunbathing in the winter. Well, that is a lot of BDC, says, yeah, it's a lot. He's really full maxi, and so far it's working out. Can you talk more about Titan X ecosystem and have Jake on a stream, please, says Red Bull. Hey, look, I'll be talking about that. So that's on my Superman Crypto channel. I'm actually going to be doing a video on that later today. I might even do a live stream. I haven't a live stream on that topic, but I will cover all that stuff, all the sort of ROI protocols on that channel later today, probably about 4 hours or so. So check out that, Red Bull, when I go to that. Obviously, Hex Token, and that's mostly Pulsechain and Hex. Spike says Sorkin is such a chump. He laughed at crypto for years, says Spike. We got Tintop in the house there. What's up, Hexkins? What's up? Good to see you, Tintop, as always. Is this AI Michael Saylor or real Michael Saylor, says Tintop? Hey, it's going to be like that, isn't it? It's going to be like that. You're watching videos, is this real? Most of the time you can pick a lot of AI stuff, but it will come to a point, which is probably not too far away, where it's going to be really, really tricky, maybe impossible. Who knows? What have we got here? Let's see here. We got Spike says boss. Hey, good to see Spike. LTC, yeah, Litecoin. What else there? It's what LTC is doing better than Hex. Charlie is still dunking on Richard even after banning a digital silver. Well, Charlie Lee, he sold his Litecoin on all his followers, right? So, but Richard's not doing that. Sailor says we can buy a house in Africa on sats with Bitcoin. Yeah, he sort of ran that back later on, right? I guess it's if you're buying big ticket items, it might be right, but it's no good for a medium of exchange, right? We've got plenty of other cryptos that are better for that, like Pulsechain. Susie Q in the house there. Hi, amazing Superman family. Lots of hugs and kisses from Susie Q. Big shout out to you. And from Sandy Beach, look at that. Hey. What else we got here? Let's jump through some of those. Yeah, we'll talk about that on Superman Crypto later today. So I'll be doing another live stream over there. Pullback on PDI may be a good buy in price now, says Brennan. That's Brennan's been calling some really great shots on there. So PDI there, and of course the 1 cent narrative all the way to 10 cents, I guess, and then $1. It's going to do that. Some people calling PDI faster to $1 than PHEX. So there's a lot of competition going on there. Valley says, along with EHEX, bargain prices now on Hetron, Icosa, and Communist, just in my opinion, says Valiant. Well, they definitely are. We are going to talk about all those charts in a few moments. I heard rumors that Trump coin on Pulsechain might be Daytona Finance soon, says Pulsex. Yeah, Trump's token there out there as well. Now, let's get into it, folks. Let's get into the Pulsechain content. It's going to be a big section as well. Let's see where we're going here. Let me find my good, let's go there. And I couldn't stop laughing at this. This is fun. If you guys know, Ben Shapiro is a big conservative commentator. And here is, was it Dylan Mahoney or something? And of course, we won't get into the political stuff because YouTube, you know, they don't like that sort of free speech. But you can see actually the likeness is kind of uncanny, right? The likeness is kind of uncanny. I thought that was quite funny. And of course, here is EHEX yesterday. That's I guess it's Ben Shapiro and EHEX today, which I thought was pretty funny. You guys got to laugh at that, right? That is pretty funny. But anyway, sometimes it's good to laugh even if you're upset about what something's happened to you. But that is pretty funny there, and it's had quite a few views. So I actually might repost that because it is kind of funny. So yeah, support now the freedom of making memes on Pulsechain. That's kind of there. So that was pretty fun there from Pulse Dodge Elon. But that is some of the stuff happening there on that. I just wanted to show that one. It was pretty funny. Anyway, we've got some updates from Richard since we read all his posts out yesterday. So we're going to go through a few of those now. So this is 17 hours ago. He says, haters mad. So obviously a lot of people are upset about the Hex drama. And I'm probably in the camp where you probably could have just said nothing. It would be a better scenario. But hey, look, it's a free world, right? We love freedom and people can say what they want. Most coins in crypto are down today. 3 of these are not haters. We're not losing. We're winning. We're not getting weaker. We are getting stronger. Look at the chart. So this is a bit of a pushback at the haters with his posts. Now, obviously, this is all based on yesterday's charts. We're going to look at them today. So we'll talk about that. Has he got any follow-up on that one? Look, man, so we've got another chart here. This was the incentive chart, obviously up big time from the bottom. So that was there. Let me jump back up from there. Obviously, we've had a couple of rallies on the Pulsechain already, particularly around incentive token. Pulse Hex particularly doing particularly well, and of course Pulse up as well. 18 hours ago, Hex spent $31 million in gas fees, which is worth $50 million today. Says Etherscan. Click like if you wish. That dollars could have gone to Hex buyers instead. That's true. Obviously, a lot of those fees get burnt now, right, with EIP 1559. But that is a big amount of money that could be on Pulsechain and pumping Pulsechain because it's so cheap to do things on Pulsechain at the moment. So definitely pretty good there. Oh, what happened there? Lost Richard Hart for a moment. We had another 9 hours ago. All right, let's see what charts we have to say about all the drama. So Richard's seeing the drama, so he's hearing you guys. If you're in there, having him on about the EX. Up and up. The market seems to be doing great. So he's got a lot of the Hex charts there, and what's he got? Pulse Hex there, Pulse there, and incentive token there. So the Richard Hart gold and cryptos. What else we got there? 9 hours ago, I told you I was bullish on Bitcoin at 61K. It's now 72K. Now you're welcome. Now we were bullish on Bitcoin at $16,700 or whatever it was, back 15,700, something like that, back in the day. So yeah, we've been bullish for a long time on that. Ethereum, I told you I was bullish at $3,850. It was 4,000 a couple of hours ago. I think it's got room to go higher. You're welcome. Yeah, we were pretty much bullish on Ethereum back when it was crossed over $2,000. So yeah, we were pretty early on that one. So pretty good calls here on this channel, and I know that Brennan's been super bullish. So this is 8 hours ago from Richard. Once again, I have to educate the not so smart, really not so smart guys. If you sell $1 in an illiquid pair, it moves the price down more than if you buy $1 in a liquid pair. So if you move money from liquid to liquid, then add the two prices, it will be less, and the opposite too. Oh yeah, when people move money from a liquid to liquid, the combined prices go down, and when people move from liquid to illiquid, the combined prices go up. You geniuses that think you're detecting sentiment are actually detecting maths. You're welcome there. And that's from Richard. And of course, watch out for imposters out there. All right, so the market sentiment spoke when it touched the BankX wall. That's some different views. So you're going to see lots of different views in there. All right, that's pretty much it from Richard today, I think. Yep, so we'll give that a like there too. And bam, that is pretty much it. All right, now we're going to get into the Magic Carpet Ride type of talk here. So this is the big buying wallet that's on Pulsechain that pushed up Pulsex the other day with $15 million. Still got $24 million in there. Obviously, a lot of it is the Pulsex that got bought up, which is about $17 million worth at the moment. But it has still got quite a few $1 million left in it with the wrapped ETH. So it's got $2.3 million wrapped ETH in there. It's got $2 million of DAI in there, and it's got $1 million of USDC and about $800,000 of USD Tether in there at the moment. So still a lot of tactical buying power there for the Magic Carpet Ride wallets. So that is still looking pretty good. And I might just save that to my favorites. I was supposed to do it the other day. The other one is, of course, Martin here posted this the other day. Over the past week, of course, we did talk about this the other day. Pulsechain Sacrifice wallets have fully converted $643,000 of DAI into 170,000 ETH at an average price of $3,768. Now, obviously, ETH is now over $4,000. So this was worth $640. This was worth. Let's have a look here. Worth $643,000, 170,683 ETH. That would be worth now about $700 million. So that's an increase of what, 57,000 US dollars. And of course, as ETH keeps going up, and Richard, you saw in his post, talked about the bullish tweet there, then obviously the sacrifice funds are going to get more valuable over time. Now, you know, it could have reasonably done this way back, way back when ETH was particularly cheap. This would be now in the low billions. But hey, it's happening now. So there we go. So we're going to see how that plays out. So average price $3,768. And yeah, so it's even getting more buying power. And obviously there's money also earning interest as well. So there's lots of money that potentially can be harvested from Ethereum. And of course, inverted commas, I like to put this inverted commas, vampire attack, and of course, feed the Pulsechain pump, the Magic Carpet Ride. So I know there's a lot of drama around the EHEX and a lot of financial impacts from that, but there's the big upside on the Pulsechain with the Magic Carpet Ride, and I think it's going to be pretty glorious. So I just wanted to show that there is two sides of the coin, and we acknowledge them both. So there we go. That is where the Magic Carpet Ride is at the moment. And of course, we've got this famous video from Richard. So let's play that.
In theory, if someone were a billionaire and they had like all this money, why wouldn't they just buy more of the thing they liked instead of dumping the thing they liked? Like if Bezos bought shares in Amazon, would you be pissed off? If Apple does a stock buyback and they buy more of their own shares in their company back from the public, which is a way to turn earnings into yield for the shareholders, do you get mad and yell at Apple? And so we had to come up with a word for this fan fiction fantasy, which is the opposite of a rug pull, called a Magic Carpet Ride. And so if you're worried about risk of a rug pull, what weighted value have you given the risk of a Magic Carpet Ride? And it's just hilarious to me.
All right, so that's from Richard there. Now, sometimes he doesn't get the sentiment of the community that much. We're in the community every day. So there's a little things there. Maybe you can frame things a bit better. I'm sure he's taking it on board there. But on the positive, Magic Carpet Ride, he's steering the ship, and it's going to be a fun time, I'm sure, in the future. So Pulsechain, Pulse Gains, and Magic Carpet Ride is looking pretty good. We've had a couple opening shots already. It's going to be pretty good from the bottom there. And we are, pretty much well over SEC price, and of course, mean sacrifice for Pulsechain. We're almost there, and of course, we touched. We've already above the SEC price for Pulsex, and also we did touch it the other day on that big pump back to 0001 on Pulsex, and of course, Pulsex is driving up a bit today, I see, and so everything's looking pretty good, and it's going to be game on, so it's going to be a lot of fun, and Ethereum's going to pay for a lot of the pump from the looks of it at this stage, so it's going to be pretty good. All right, let's see what else we got. A couple of comments here. PulseX is YouTube user. Yeah, looking pretty good today. Ripping the Band-Aid off will hurt for a little while. It will. I'm not shying away from that at all. That is true. Richard said the community would decide the future of both hexes. You should have left it to that. I would agree. That's where I frame as well. I think I've seen a lot of community members and influencers say some similar things to that. Sydney boys in the house, they're 100%. Absolutely. Yeah, we knew all pretty much the facts. Probably the most interesting thing is when Richard actually says something about something. And that can sometimes signal things as well. Obviously, we know the Magic Carp ride. We knew all the facts around BankHex and eHex and, directing capital to Pulsechain as being the optimal play and cheaper fees. We knew all that sort of stuff. So, could have been framed a bit better. Great stream today, says Probably View. Hey, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Valen says RH will probably be able to brag later about how he manipulated BankHex to sell lower. Could be a boss move. Yeah, true. But you've got to remember it impacts all the other retail people as well, Loki. So, it's not necessarily the best approach to doing that. And I don't think that was probably his primary move. Really, he wanted to get capital moving over to Pulsechain in a big way. All right. Let's jump away. So that is the Magic Cup ride. Let's get into the results for day. What day is it? Day. Where's my? I've lost my screen here. What's happened here? Have they taken the day off the top? I think they have too. I used to reference the day there. Now I'm not sure what my screen. Oh, day 3 or 4. Here it is. Look, they put it over left here. It's almost in light grey. Hey guys, go Pulse. Make it more brighter. Man, I could hardly see the thing. Used to be up in the top right corner, but day 304. I'm pretty sure that's what we were still on there. So we got the price there at 000177, and we are up 0.5% on Pulse. So after the aftermath of yesterday, Twitter was an X posting storm. We used to call it Twitter storm, which had a bit of ring to it. But X storm, let's call it the X storm. I don't know. X posting storm, 77% above the sacrifice price. So still looking very good there. Obviously, it's been a long time since the Pulsechain launched there, but it is certainly moving in the right direction. Magic Cup ride is only just starting to wind up. Pulsex there at the moment, quadruple 0845. So that's definitely going up today, 7.44%. Nice little move there. And of course, we've got the buy and burn looking pretty good. We're still below sacrifice price, so we're at 84.5% above, above, towards it, but we've got about 15 basis points to go, whatever we call it. The buy and burn, 740.8 billion Pulsex has been bought up and burned. That's looking really good. So 3.63% of all the supply is bought up and burned, and that's off the market for good. And plus, we have Power City Earn Protocol, which is like a boss. Yeah, let's pull it up now before I even get to it, because it has been operating really, really well. No, we're going to get to it because we've got the stats in the locked number, so we'll get to it then. But we've really gotten way more off the market now. I think it's around about 8.5% or whatever it was the other day. So we'll check that out. Incentive token is up 4.82%. $8.06, and the ratio is 45,683. And of course, that was leading. Now Pulsex is kind of leading at the moment. And of course, the supply just went over 26 million yesterday. We're at 26,155,000. And of course, they're all emitted from the V1 Pulsex farms. Now, I know a lot of you guys were on the VWAX. I had someone in yesterday on the Discord asking about Pulsex. They were trying to get into the farms, and they couldn't get into the farms because they were in V2 pools. Now, you need to be in V1 pools to get in the farms. So just remember that the farms are in V1. So if you provide liquidity in V2, you won't be able to put your LP in the farms, right? So just remember that. So if you go to farms here, and these are all V1. See how they got V1 next to them? Those are all V1 pools. And you can see actually they're quite attractive. Pulsex Pulse. 18.69%. So if you don't care too much about impairment loss because they're pretty much Richard Hart coins, then that's going up together and you make a nice income. Pretty good income there. $94 million in there at the moment. Obviously, if you've got impairment loss issues, you will have them in DAI, USDC, Wrapped ETH, and USD Tether. Obviously, Wrapped ETH will be the least one there because the rest of the stable coins. Those are all versus Pulse. And look at the yields at the moment, 142%, but you have the impairment loss, and that's going to make a big deal when the price of Pulse goes up to the right? So you don't want to. You got to take that into account for that. Maybe have a percentage of your portfolio into yield farming. Maybe that's one way to look at it. But typically that's what you do in a bear market. But hey, look, the yields are pretty attractive. I'm not sure what happened with there, but it's bold that up. I lost all my yields. Let me just refresh that. There we go. They're back in. And of course, they're looking spectacular, right? Look at that. Looks spectacular yields. Hex Pulse there. I really like that one. That's at 43% at the moment. So the Hex Pulse there looking pretty good. 43% there. Incentive Pulse and Incentive Pulsex, 56 and 50%, and both of those looking pretty good too. So these I really like these pools, these three down here. And of course, you get the upside of the Richard Hart tokens, right? At different proportions, but it's going to be pretty neat there on that. So those are V1. So you have to go to V1. Now, how do you get into the farm? Just quickly, just so people know, you can go get LP. You need to get LP tokens. LP tokens are like the ownership tokens when you provide liquidity. And of course, this is V2, so you have to provide 50% on each side. So you need 50% of Hex and 50% of Pulse. And of course, that's in US dollar terms. And of course, that reflects the amount of tokens you have. And of course, once you do that, you can supply that. You just click on get the Hex and the Pulse, and you can go in there, and then you just have to provide the Pulse and the Hex in there. So if you did 1 million Pulse, for example, no, let's do 100. How much is that? Let's do 10 million Pulse at $770. Then you're going to need 86,000 Hex as well. You're going to connect your wallet, and then you're going to have that in those tokens in your wallet. It's going to take them out of your wallet, and you have to approve it first, and then it will take them out. And of course, then it will give you the LP tokens, and those LP tokens represent the ownership that you have over these tokens you just put into the liquidity pool. Now, people are going to buy and sell these in the liquidity pool. Just remember that, and you'll end up with a different ratio as the prices move different from each other or relative to each other. Once you do that, of course, you can go back to the farms, and you'll have LP tokens in your wallet. Now, you don't have to add the contract if you don't want to, but if you want to add the contract, you can view contracts there, or you can just click the add the contract there and add them in that way to your wallet. But in any case, the farm will see it. You connect your wallet, and you'll be able to put your tokens in the farm. You'll have to approve them to take them out of your wallet, of course, the LP tokens, and put them into the farm. But then you'll be earning not just fees through the LP pool, but also you'll be earning the sweet incentive token, which has got a pretty nice yield. There's a calculator too. So if you put $1,000 in, and every, say, week, you're going to earn $8.37 in incentive tokens. Obviously, if the incentive token goes up, you're going to make more money. If it goes down, you're going to make slightly less money. We are expecting probably less emissions overall for the whole Pulsex, probably coming up in another month as we roll over to year 2. But that may not be that noticeable when the price is going up and to the right. So some cool stuff there. Just wanted to highlight that quickly, just so people don't put it in V2, put it in V1, and it's pretty easy to do. All right, PHEX at the moment is at 2.05 cents, down 13.9%. So not quite what people would hope for when EHEX was under a bit of pressure there. But EHEX is actually at half a penny at the moment. So EHEX is coming back. And of course, markets will do what markets will do. Really, markets already knew all the information that came out. And so markets will trade that way. Now, there's still the BankX there. So there is a kind of a, what do we call it? A sludge zone. Would be very difficult to buy through. Which is at 1.2 to 3.2 cents there, $40 million worth. That's going to be an issue for another day. But rising up to 1.2 cents, sure, we've done that before. And we had a lot of big influences talking about that. So that's where we are on the tokens for day 304. And of course, let's have a quick look at the charts. This is the chart range here for Pulsechain. So just easing up there, going up very slowly, taking its time, but looking pretty nice. The RSI is a bit overheated on the daily. We're at 69, so it does need to cool a little bit there, but the markets are hot, right? Markets are hot, and we've got a positive MACD as well. So looking pretty good. We've got tons of projects launching on Pulsechain, tons of projects still coming, and it's going to be exciting to see that. Pulsex at the moment is at quadruple 0.8480, and it's really taken the lead, obviously, up 8%. And, of course, the RSI is a little bit overheated here at 72, but the markets are hot, and it looks like it's going to continue to go up there. And, of course, that target of getting over the mean sacrifice price at 0001 is not far away from us at all. And so it's looking pretty good with Ethereum and Pulsechain moving upwards there. So 17.86% to go to get back over that mean sacrifice price. Then we can really start to rally. We can really start to magic carpet ride this old Pulsechain there. Now, incentive tokens as well, $8.07. Let's look at the ratio. This is just kind of cooled off for the moment. But this is probably just consolidating here. Probably going to move up again, in my view. Currently 45,764. And, we had a bit of consolidation like this. Probably going to be a bit shorter there as long as the momentum in the market stays. We are a bit overheated on the RSI, but, incentive token do pretty magical things there, as we can see in the RSI. Jumping to PHEX, of course. 2 cents here at the moment. Look at this. This is the hourly chart. Now we move from daily to hourly, right? So this is PHEX here. Man, we had the hyper rally on the news there about EHEX from Richard. And, of course, here it went all the way up to 2.9 cents on PHEX. Yes, please. We like that. That's where we want it to go. But, of course, on the hourly, then it got sold all the way back down. Can you believe it? Got all the way back down here to 1.8 cents here, below where it started. So a lot of people not happy, I guess. And it got sold back down there. And of course, now it's just starting to rise back up to 2 cents at the moment, which is just above where it started off yesterday, 1.879. So really, if you look before Richard and after Richard's post, it is basically up 8.5%, which is modest there. And of course, we saw Richard kind of respond to that in his last post that we read out. So that is a PHEX here. Let's look at the RSI, and we're going to go to the daily on this one. Actually, let's look at the 4 hourly on the chart, and that's kind of the trader's view. RSI 51, pretty chill, 51, MACD negative, and of course we can kind of see that in the chart there on the 4 hourly. Let's go to the daily, and let's get rid of the overlays, and we can see we do have a positive bullish what is it, the MACD, sorry, EMA cross. So that's still bullish. The RSI is chill at 58, so there's room to move on the old PHEX. And of course, we have positive on the MACD. So it might have not been on shorter time frames, but definitely positive MACD on the daily there. Maybe we might just consolidate here, just take a bit of time to chill, and the market moves up here. So Magic Cup ride still in play. We're going to keep watching that, and nice one there. So just a bit of a dip down, a good time to potentially pick up a lot of volume on the old PHEX there at the moment. All right, let's jump over to, because RSI is chill, and yeah, looking good. I think it's looking pretty good for pickup there. You didn't have to pay 2.9 cents. You can get it for 2 cents today. How about that? That's pretty good value. All right, so that is pretty much that. And of course, yeah, if you did lose on EHEX, you got the opportunity on Pulsechain. Obviously, you can keep trading EHEX. EHEX is huge. It's huge, man. Let's quickly go and have a look at yesterday's results, because I'm going to bring this in a bit early. I want to show this. So we had yesterday, I'm not sure, I posted this in the Discord, but on HEX yesterday, we got 29. So this is day 1560, and we got 29 hex per TCA on EHEX on the staking. Obviously, we all know all the issues that were raised about, EHEX and the ETH chain being expensive. We all know that. But we got 29.1 hex per TCA, so a much better payout day on Ethereum than it was on Pulsechain, for example. Obviously, this is a big one-off kind of event, but man, what a day it was. And of course, the price was down 57% there on that day. We dropped from 1.07, just over almost 1.1 cent, down to just under half a penny on that day. And of course, but the payout was pretty awesome on the yield. And of course, the price is coming back, right? Price is already back, coming back to half a penny there today. Now, the penalties that were in there were massive. Look at that, 134 billion. So yeah, people made decisions based on the post that Richard put out, right? He is the leader of the community. He is the founder of the community, and there we go, 134 million in penalties there. So people made decisions, and a lot of people were trying to get over that bridge. That bridge was just getting stuck, and of course we know that the fee changed as well, so things were coordinated. The fee changed. You can come over to Ethereum, no fees, but if you're leaving Pulsechain, there's the 0.3% apparently back there as well, and of course it got congested as well, so people were stuck there trying to reposition their portfolio. Well, they could get with higher prices, but of course the market's coming back there a bit at the moment. So 134 million was a pretty amazing payout there. Look at the current hot liquid holders, down 783. OMG, normally we've been doing not too bad and growing, and we had that 783 down, and 53 miners. So there we are. Those are the miners, early in staking probably, and we went down there that day. So big jump. So what's that? If we take out the normal busy BAU miners, let's say 7 to 10. So maybe we had about 40 miners, so which is a small amount of market, but it's a lot. It maybe had a lot of coins, and they did 134 million in penalties. Remember, 50% goes to the reward pool. So the reward pool jumped up from 65 million to 132 million, and of course 50% goes to the OA, right? Which obviously I did see somebody say, well, if they really don't like the Ethereum chain, why don't you burn all the OA coins on the Ethereum, right? So that was pretty interesting. Let me know what you think of that. So that's kind of the play there. Even on Pulsechain. Yesterday, this is yesterday's results, not today's results, which will come out shortly. We had the price up 20% at the time, 2.3 cents. So of course, that's now to 2 cents at the moment, and went down to 1.8 cents. The payout though, 13.4 hex, was still pretty good on the old Pulsechain as well. And of course, we had some emergency instakes there, I guess, and we had a bit of 3.9 million today. And of course, that's up huge today. Those results today are really big. I think they're like 20 million on both chains. So some people are a bit annoyed there probably as well. So you're getting a bit of both of those features. All right, so that is the play there. Now, obviously, we've had a bounce back. Hex got down to 37/100th of a penny, and of course, is now rallied back up. Got as high today of 53/100th of a penny, so over half a cent again. and it is now at 4700th of a penny at the moment. So let's have a quick look at some of those numbers. So we got all the way down. Let's go right to the bottom here. This is eHex bridged over to Pulsechain versus Pulse, right? So that's ticking away there. So we got down 67%. We are only down now 55%. So it's going to be interesting to see this trade up. I think it's probably going to trade up. Like I say, you look at all the people in there. So we look at all the T shares. There's a lot of invested folks over on the Pulsechain. That it's a mutable code. It's going to keep trading as long as there's liquidity. On Ethereum and on Pulsechain, it'll just keep going, and traders are going to trade it, right? So where was I looking for here? T shares there. So let's jump over here. 9,471 T shares, down 33,000 today. When we get today's results out, which will be day 1561, we'll see the result of there. But hey, look, markets, quasi recovered. Now we don't know what's going to happen day to day. It's really unclear, but at the moment, it's kind of looking slightly to the positive side, let's say. Like I say, there's a lot of stakeholders in Hex on Ethereum. So let's see how we go. I think it's positive. All right. And that is pretty much it. Now, when the magic carpet ride hits Pulsechain, though, that's going to attract a lot more capital. So regardless of what happened with the event yesterday, it's going to attract more capital anyway. So what will happen to eHex under that scenario? Obviously, capital's going to flow where its best returns are. So we'll be watching out for that trend as well. But, there's also a lot of value on Ethereum. So there's going to be some traders trading and people buying and selling. And that's just the way it goes. So especially after things quiet down a lot after a couple of days. So we'll be looking out for all that. Now, if we suddenly see some big red, green candles on here, then that could actually have a short-term big impact on where capital is flowing to. All right. That's pretty much on that. Let's jump over to, I'm going to come back to that a bit later, but let's go to the ratio between eHex and Hex. So this is on the Pulsechains. It's not Ethereum peers, which have slightly different prices. So if we actually went to some of those, let's quickly have a look at some of the Ethereum ones. I think I've got that here. Let's see here. I think we've got Hex on the pools. Let me just rank those. Hex USDC, we're at 4/10 of a penny at the moment. This is on Ethereum. So I was looking at the Pulsechain, wrapped Hex on Pulsechain from Ethereum. This is ETH peers. So we've got the V2 and V3. They're both just under a half a penny. So they're a bit stronger there. And the liquidity, 900K on that main ETH pair. That's probably the one to watch, right? So that's still looking pretty good on the V2. And no price recovery on that one. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Not too bad. All right. A lot of charts to look at, right? And of course, that means we're going to look at one more, which is the ratio chart. This is a ratio chart between eHex and Hex. Now, you can look at this two ways, right? So we're looking at it. If you look at the US dollar price, you can see the US dollar price there. And of course, we're at 4,800, just under half a penny for eHex. And of course, if we want to look at the ratio to PHEX, or Hex as Richard calls it, then we're at 0.23. And you can see, man, we spiked all the way down. We got all the way down to 0.1593. And of course, we've pushed all the way back here to 0.23. This is a positive sign so far. This will rebound, and we'll keep watching out for it over the next day or two. But so far, so good. Now we can invert this. So we're going to go invert it. I actually prefer the inverted view because it's just a little bit easier to follow in my view. And of course, here we are. So 1 PHEX. So now we've flipped it over where PHEX is in front of eHex. So 1 PHEX will get you 4.24 eHex at the moment. So that's how much stronger it is. Now, will we get the ratio 1 to 5? That's kind of where we got up to. Yesterday, we got the ratio up to 6.27. So 1 PHEX would get you 6.27 eHex. And of course, today it's 4.2. So it's come back a bit. It got as low as just under 4. So what will be that gap? And of course, the Pulsechain pumps with the magic carpet ride. Will that gap get bigger? We know the BankX wall is still there. Now the BankX wall disappears or something changes about it, then it's a different set of assumptions or realities. And of course, at the moment we're 1 to 4. Will we get to 1 to 10? Like if we're going through that BankX wall, well, PHEX is going up to the moon. Will we get that dragging through the EX wall, and will it start to stretch that ratio until someone manages to pay $14 million to buy it, and that ratio will snap on the other time and just compact, and EX will converge, and I don't think it's going to reach parity, but converge at this stage to PHEX a bit more and close that ratio down. So it's going to be fun to see that play out. But at the moment, 4.2. So, it's almost 1 to 4, isn't it? Ratio there at the moment for PHEX to EHEX. So we'll be watching this and see where that goes, and we'll see how the market decides on that. But fun times. EHEX is still here. So there we go. That's pretty much the last mile. Was it the key takeaway there? And it's going to keep trading, right? That's pretty much it on that. Let's jump away to the combined price of EHEX and PHEX. Man, we got all the way up to 3.449 cents. Woo-hoo-hoo! This is the combined price of EHEX and PHEX. That was pretty awesome. You guys know we're after that are getting over 3 cent range now. We're still waiting, but we know it's coming soon. Will we get 10 cents by the end of April? Maybe first half of May. That's kind of a decent call, I think. 10 cents by then. So keep a watch out, folks. It's going to happen pretty fast, right? We see Bitcoin and Ethereum going up pretty fast. It's going to be fun to see the combined price. Maybe the combined price is mostly made up of PHEX, but it's going to be fun to see that play out. And at the moment, we're at 2.5 cents. We got sold off all the way down to 2.2 cents. What a range that was for the combined price. And here we are back up at 2.5 cents at the moment on the old PHEX there. Whether you consider it a certificate deposit or a meme, it's still a Richard Hart token, and it's got a massive community. And it's going to be fun to see it play out up to the right there on the moon. We enjoy the Magic Carp ride. So hopefully that's a kind of a summary of a lot of things happening there. All right, that's pretty cool. Let's go to some of the other things that we've got on validators. At the moment, we've got 49,598 validators on Pulsechain, 1.59 trillion off the market. And of course, we've also got liquid loans out there taking a lot of Pulse off the market too. The gas prices, let's have a look at that. Obviously, gas prices went through the roof yesterday. They were up at 8.5 million. I think I saw the Gwei at some stages. It was costing dollars and dollars to do transactions. People were like, oh my God, everything goes up in price when there's a calamity, right? The bridge fees, the ETH fees, the Pulsechain fees, everything goes pretty haywire when you go up to 8 million beats or more. Pretty crazy. And remember when we had X1 launching on, Zen launching on, not Zen Classic, the copy, but Zen, when it was a new contract launching on Pulsechain, we had like 30-40 million Gwei. It was insane. The costs were insane. You couldn't do anything. It was just insane. But now, of course, we got a spike yesterday. It was up at like 8 million when I saw it, 8.5. It may have got higher, don't know, but that's kind of where I saw it. And it's now coming down. So we're down, almost down to what we sort of have as normal, which is around 250,000 beats or so. We're just slightly above that at the moment, 367,000 beats. 2 cents for a Pulsechain swap at the moment, so super cheap. You can still pay your $60 to $100 over on Ethereum, I guess. But we're at 1 cent, 1/10 of a penny for a Pulsecoin transfer and 4/10 of a penny for PRC twin transfer, so super cheap there. The Gwei on Ethereum at the moment is 53. It's come down a little bit there, $77 to do a swap. So you're talking about 2 cents or $77. I know Pulsechain's a lot better and to operate. And of course, we've got so many projects launching on Pulsechain. It is insane. And we've got 3,327 times cheaper than Ethereum and 2,200 times cheaper than Bitcoin. $3 to send stuff on Bitcoin at the moment. So not really Bitcoin. Store of value, yes. Medium exchange, not really, unless you're talking about some luxury items. That's probably about it. All right, so let's get into it, folks. Let's go into the bridge. We've been looking at this. This is kind of the heart of a Pulsechain. And of course, we know we got up the other day when Pulsex was pumping. We had about $186 million or something like that on the bridge. And of course, we're down at 152 at the moment. And obviously, Hex is in this mix here. I would like actually to pull Hex out of this, but hey, it is bridged over to Pulsechain. That is the definition. But we are at $18 million on EHEX at the moment. Obviously, that's going to make this fluctuate around a lot. In terms of stable coins, I'd like to have a separate measure for stable coins so that you can break that out. But we're still sitting around 48 million on DAI, etc. 25 million, almost 26 million USDC, 16.7 million USD Tether. Coast, of course, the fiat off-ramp, they're coming with a permanent solution. They're going to have multiple financial providers ready to solve that issue around their agents that they're providing their services at 4.2 million there. And Wrap Bitcoin at 2.7 million bridged over as well. Now, here's the cool metric. You guys know I love it. USDL, man, like a boss. Oh, yeah, USDL's come down a lot with all this movement, but we're at $21.2 million in USDL. That came down from about $32 million. And then, of course, we've got PXDC has come up the other way at $20.9 million. So actually, PXDC is almost about to do a flipping of liquid loans. That's insane. I hope you guys can see that. Let me just zoom in on that. You can see those numbers. PXDC is about to flip liquid loans. Get out of here. You get out. I say get out. That's crazy stuff. But, man, that is looking so badass on the old PXDC. Looking pretty good. All right. We did have a little bit leave the bridge out too. Notice that number's gone up a little bit, about $1 million or so. All right, so that is kind of cool. Let's zoom back here and the bridge there. So the bridge is holding okay. Let's go look at lock coins. As you guys know, 2.7 trillion almost of Pulse is off the market. Remember, it's about 16 trillion Pulse, give or take. So that's a pretty good amount. And let's do some quick math on that, just to be approximate. 2.7 divided by 16, and that's going to give us 17%, just under 17% of Pulse is locked off the market at the moment. And we've had a few changes around the amount of validators and Pulse liquid loans as well in terms of stable coins coming off. So that's pretty much it at the moment. Looking pretty bad. Now, that we talked about all those stable coins, but now there's also 860 billion PulseX locked off the market, 860 billion, and that's only in a couple of days. 1 week, actually, 1 week. So it didn't make a trillion, I don't think, but it's got pretty close and looking pretty nice there. So let's go back to the price charts quickly. PulseX, so we've got 3.63. So let's add that up there. So what did I say? 0.86 there plus 0.74. And of course, that's a total of 1.6 trillion PulseX is off the market. And of course, we've got approximately 20.4. So let's divide by that, divided by 20.4. So that's about 7.8%. So I said about 8.5%. So it's about 7.8% of PulseX off the market at the moment. But PulseX is Power City Earn Protocol's got a long way to go. We could get way more off the market with PulseX. But that's why I love PUSD Algo because it really helps solve the scalability trilemma as well. Because even when you've got a large amount of Pulse and PulseX coins, you get only a certain amount of market participates in that approach in terms of going on to Power City and to liquid loans, liquidity forks and collateralizing their tokens. Now, PulseX still got a long way to go, in my view. It's only about a week old. But the PUSD Algo, it's that scalability issue, be able to scale regardless of token issuance, and of course just matches supply and demand. And that could be huge, right, for big players to come in. All right, so looking pretty good. There on the Pulse chain, day 304. We're going to be starting day 305, right? If I'm right about that. So, yeah. All right, let's jump away. And, of course, we're going to look at the top PRC 20s and all that sort of stuff. Before we do, though, we're up to an hour and 12 minutes. So I'm going to just go through this really quickly. Let's have a look at some of the highlights of the other categories. Category number 2, top PRC 20s. We've got PDI is down at the moment. So down just below 4/10 of a penny. And this is the one that Brennan said might be a good pickup zone now. After its little pullback, that played out very well from Brennan. So congratulations to him again. He's calling lots of good stuff there. Now, Wrap Bitcoin, you guys know I've been talking about Wrap Bitcoin, and man, did it go or did it go? Look at that. You guys would have made massive crust on that. Look at that there. I've been following this every day, and this thing just went up 386%. So 4.9x almost on this one, and that's inside 35 days. So woohoo! If you got that, congratulations. But in any case, since it broke out, it's still up pretty dramatically here. And, of course, nice little gains, about 3.4x returns there inside, or whatever at that time was, 8 days. So really, I love it just in that short space of time. So pretty awesome there. And I know some people in the Discord were trading that and did pretty well. It's $212. Now, there's always a chance that it could pump to $700. But the RSI was getting a bit overheated here on the 4 hourly. There's a trader's view. And on the daily, man, we've definitely overheated on the RSI there, despite, Bitcoin going up. But it's a good chance it will follow the Bitcoin narrative. This thing could be worth thousands of dollars on Pulsechain. It's going to be fun to see whether that future plays out, but definitely looking pretty good there. A lot of other stuff down at the moment. Let's have a look for some stars here, just to wrap things up. Yeah, nothing else I'm going to talk about there in particular. Let's go to the meme coins and top influencer coins. We're sorted by liquidity, right? So we've got all that. Blasted down 26%. That's a bit of a move down. And Axis Alive down 15% to 13,000. So not really recovered yet from those whale sales at all down there at the moment. No token from Randy Alaski, man. It's almost a stable coin. I swear it. It's pretty flat today at 1/1700th of a penny. So no token hanging out pretty well there. So congratulations to the note community. What else is looking pretty interesting? Let's have a look here. Duck token up 5%. Someone was talking about that earlier. That's up 5%. Let's see here. Bitboy Ben is down 7% there on V1. 70 cents on more token, down 6%. Dogecoin from Jeff Kadakis down 16% there. And that's pretty much it at the moment. So let's go to the main event, Pulsechain projects. And of course, this is where you go to hunt, long-term value. And of course, at the moment, we've got Love Token up 6%. Earn Token, wow, power move back. This is Power City Earn Token up 44% to $1.17. Man, that was interesting move back up. Let's have a look at that on Power City Earn Protocol. Look at that. That's on the hourly. Let's go to the daily. Yeah, not that old, is it? Not that old. So ticking away there at the moment. What's that? A week and 860 billion Pulsex off the market through the Earn Protocol. And the token itself has rebounded there quite nicely of 81 cents. So a nice little move there on that. So if you're in there staking your tokens, you'll be earning a lot more today in US dollar terms. Let's jump through some of these. Loan tokens down 14%. Bit of an opportunity there, I guess, to pick up some loan token, down 14% there. Up token up 20%, one of the liquid loan front end. So that's a kind of converse outcomes there, kind of odd, but that's up 20%. Let's have a look around here as well. Communist down 28%. What else? Vemp, the Web3 gaming. Vemp is up 35%. Nice strong move there. And that's kind of it at the moment. So let's quickly look at that Vemp before we wrap up here. Where'd that Vemp go? Missed the Vemp. I've lost it. Where did it go? Here it is. Let's have a quick look at this chart just while we're here. There, big power move up there at the moment. But that's the daily chart there. So, wow, big power move. High lows. Now got higher highs. 1.5 cents on Vemp. Maybe they had some news out today. I haven't checked that, but you can definitely check that. And of course, you can. Do we have the link there? No, we don't have the links, but you can definitely check that out on X. So not too bad at the moment on the old Pulsechain. Let's quickly check PRC 404s. Gopher's up at $1,500. Still looking pretty strong there. And that's probably all she wrote, is it? Let's get a quick look at stable coins. Everything's pretty stable there. 98 cents for PXDC, 98 cents for USDL, and Coast at 98 cents. So all of them slightly below peg there at the moment. So it's kind of hilarious. And of course, Pulsechain, you got to say, Pulsechain at the moment, Pulsex is the star today, up 10%. And of course, at 8,000, almost 8,600 there, heading towards the mean, mean sacrifice price. So of 0001. Let's go. Now, Hex, of course, we haven't got the results out for day 1561 for eHex. So they're not out yet. They'll probably come out a bit later after the live stream. And we also haven't got day, was it 304 for Pulsechain. So that's still to come, folks, still to come at the moment. All right, what a show. We're going to get into the chat, though, and see what people have to say. Because, yeah, we're about to start day 305. Not bad there at the moment with all the green candles. Let's get back in the chat. Let's see what people are saying out there. Actually, Decimate says, hey, Superman and family. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And gas fees only an issue when staking, but no one was staking anyway, says Sydney. Yeah, it was. There's a lot less staking. I know people are doing short-term staking, given the fees and things like that. Russ says these streams are fine. I appreciate that, Russ, but shout out to you. eHex is the definition of a rug, says Sydney boy. Well, it's moving back. The market will decide, Sydney. The market will decide. But so far it is moving back. But the next, we'll see how it goes with the Magic Carpet Ride. That people do follow where they get the best return. Sandy Beach says, thank you, Hex Token, for a great stream, and most welcome. Maybe RH will use eHex for wallet sacrifice. Maybe that's a good point. What else there? Valiant says RH will probably be able to brag later about how he manipulated. Yeah, I think we talked about that, didn't he? Yeah, cool. All right. Now there has been ramifications around eHex, of course, with the second layer protocols. Hedron, Icosa, Maximus, of course, so that you go check out Alex McFurter and Dipcatcher. They have had responses out in the market about that. So you can definitely check out those. And some of them were pretty interesting. So definitely follow Alex McFurter for Icosa Hedron. Obviously, we're expecting V2, and it has cross-chain staking and other things like that. And of course, we also see, and I thought some of his comments were great. Alex's comments were great about that. And of course, we also have, Dipcatcher out there building a lot of stuff as well, obviously around Maximus and things like that. Super saving, those Hex staking pools save a lot on the gas fees, right? So they are a great approach to Hex on Ethereum, is all the work that they've done there around Maximus. So those are probably looking pretty good as well. So big shout out to Dipcatcher and Alex McFurter, and of course, Golkey as well. All right, J-Pon and how's there? G'day, Superman. G'day, J-Pon. You've come in just for the end of the show. We're 5 minutes over my normal maximum time of an hour and 20, but I hope you guys have enjoyed it, man. Bitcoin over 72K. Is that awesome? It is awesome. How high is it going to go? Gold, $400,000. Let's see how high it will go. You know, Richard was calling 240 approximately, and Tom Lee calling 150 to 180, which is a very common target for a lot of analysts. And of course, he called the S&P 500. He was the only one that called it last year. So up and away. What will Pulsechain do with the Magic Cup ride, guys? What will Pulsechain do with the Magic Cup ride? It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, let's play out a video here at the moment on the way out. Let's see what we got to play. Pulsechain, yeah, let's talk about this. So yeah, in a couple of years, it could get the prices of could get a bit higher. And so obviously, as more people use the chain, more protocols launch, and we've got lots more protocols coming. And of course, the Magic Carpet Ride gets played out there. It's going to be a lot of fun. So peace out, everybody. See you guys in Discord. Subscribe, like, and share. Discord link is in the video description. And of course, join up today. Take care. I'll see you again tomorrow for another awesome day in crypto. Green, green, green. I love green, green, green. All right, take care. Bye for now.
Yes, if it accrues so much value and gets so many users, yeah, the fees will go up and you'll just get really, really rich holding Pulse watching. Oh no, more really, really rich people. Like, you can't, here's the thing. You cannot force a free market to keep things cheap, because then crappy use cases that aren't valuable will outbid useful and valuable use cases. And do you want your chain with limited capacity to be filled up with crap? No, you don't want your chain filled up with crap. You want it filled up with nice, good things. Well, then how do you know what the difference between nice and crap is? By bidding. And the people that see more value in the chain pay more to use the chain. And then your limited resource chain, through the bidding mechanism, is filled with the most valuable things that people can fill it with. And so this like socialist USSR decree that, oh, we're just going to have cheap fees forever, it doesn't work, because there's a finite amount of space and you have to allocate it to certain users. And who should you allocate it to? Those that can most afford it, because they're bidding with their money for how valuable the transaction is. So the solution to a limited resource isn't to screw around with the pricing. The solution to a limited resource is to create more of the resource. So the Ethereum chain is full. Great. Well, we're going to make one with 4 times more throughput, and it won't be full. It'll be empty, and let's go fill it up.